What's going on, guys? It's NYPrepper here. In this video I want to talk about how heavy a bug out bag should be, and I want to mention some critical mistakes that a lot of preppers make when they first start getting into prepping. I see a lot of new preppers overloading their bug out bags, and I see a lot of people that have too much crap in their bug out bags, and I want to liberate you guys and help you guys to free yourself from, having to lug around these huge bug out bags, which are totally unnecessary and could be detrimental to your survival after SHTF. So how heavy should a bug out bag be? Well, first of all, before we get into that, I want to talk about why weight is important when you're packing your bug out bag. All right. Well, weight is critical. All right. For any kind of backpack, weight is essential, because if you're bugging out, every pound is going to weigh you down. Every extra pound that you have to put on your back is going to slow you down. It's going to burn extra calories. It's going to put more pressure on your feet and your joints, okay, which are already going to be taking a beating from a lot of walking and moving around. So you don't want to add extra weight to your body unnecessarily, okay, because it's going to take a toll, all right? I don't care who you are and how physically fit you are. Even guys in the military that, practice rucking every single day, you can talk to them after they do a heavy ruck with like a 75-pound pack, and they're going to be shot. They're going to be tired. They're not going to be functioning well. And, when you're in a bug out situation or even combat for that matter, you need to be, alert. You need to be nimble. You have to be quick on your feet. You have to be able to move. You have to be mobile. And if you have a huge backpack on, you're going to not only, break down your joints and create blisters on your feet and, burn up more calories. It's going to slow you down. You're not going to be able to walk as fast or move as fast. And on top of that, you're not going to be able to react quickly when there's some kind of a dangerous situation. So, for example, I'll give you guys an example of a friend of mine who is an Iraq war veteran. And, he was telling me that when he was in Iraq, I think it was 2006 or so, and, he had this one particular, sergeant that always made them do heavy rucking marches. And, a lot of the missions that he would do would involve like 10-mile rucks, with full gear on. And he told me that one time, they did this crazy long distance patrol that his sergeant made them do, and they had like full gear on, like 75-pound rucks. And this is in Afghanistan, temperatures are over 100 degrees. He said that he was just sweating like crazy, and he burned so many calories. Like, he said he was like extremely hungry after just 10 miles. We're not even talking about 20, 30 miles. He walked 10 miles in steep terrain. And then he said that there was something going on where they were approaching the bottom of a hill. And at the top of the hill, they saw some guys walking around with AK-47s. And my friend said that he freaked out because, he said that they were so exhausted from the rucking and from that long distance ruck that if those guys on the top of the hill decided to engage them in a firefight, he would not have been able to react quickly enough to stop them. And some of them would have probably gotten hit with bullets. So, luckily those guys on the hill with the AK-47s, which were the Taliban, decided not to engage when they saw the bigger platoon down at the bottom of the hill, and they turned away. But my friend said that he was so freaked out, and he said that that was a big lesson for him in terms of packing his ruck, because it's not just good enough to get from point A to point B. All right, you can throw 100 pounds of crap on your back, and yeah, of course, you can ruck it all the way to your bug out location or to your safer location. But along the way, you're going to run into challenges, you're going to run into threats. And if you have this huge pack on, you're just not going to be able to react quickly enough. And again, on top of that, you're also going to be wearing out your body. You're going to feel a lot more fatigued. You're not going to be able to march as long and cover distances as quickly. If you have, let's say, a 50-pound pack on versus a 10-pound pack, that's a huge difference in terms of the fatigue on your body. You're going to feel a lot more tired after 8 hours of marching with a 50-pound pack through difficult terrain, because remember, when you're bugging out, you're not going to be walking down a paved road or some kind of clean trail. You're going to be moving through woods, hills. You're going to be crossing bodies of water. You're going to have to climb over fences, or you're going to have to squeeze through tunnels and different tight spaces. So having this massive pack is going to slow you down. You need to find a balance between, what can you comfortably handle physically, and also what starts to get too large that it's going to catch on things when you're trying to move quickly through difficult terrain. So, how heavy should a pack be? Well, most backpackers recommend that, if you're backpacking, let's say, one of the big trails across the United States, the Pacific Rim Trail or the Appalachian Trail, most backpackers recommend not to go more than 20% of your body weight, okay? That's the absolute max. So if you're a 200-pound person, 20% of your body weight is 40 pounds, okay? They recommend between 10 to 20% of your body weight. So if you're 200 pounds, that's between 20 and 40 pounds, all right? In my opinion, if we're talking about SHTF, I think a better number is between 5 and 10% of your body weight. So if you're a 200-pound person, 5% would be 10 pounds, 10 to 20 pounds, all right? That's 5 to 10%, in my opinion, okay? I know there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with me, and that's fine. But I can tell you guys personally, from having spent a lot of time in the wilderness, hunting, backpacking, camping, hiking, that I would much rather have 10 or 20 pounds of gear versus 30, 40, 50 pounds of gear on my back, because even though I'm a big, strong guy, it wears me out and it slows me down. I don't care who you are. It's going to slow you down. Your mobility is going to be affected, and your speed is going to be affected. In my opinion, every bug out bag should be light enough to allow you to run at a full sprint or almost a full sprint, okay? Because you never know what the situation is going to be, and you never know, bugging out is not backpacking, all right? It's totally different, all right? You're going to have all kinds of terrain to cross. Things are going to happen unexpectedly. You're not just going to say, okay, I want to go on this trail and I'm going to stay on this trail for 30 miles, Doesn't work that way, all right? Bugging out is very dynamic. SHTF is very dynamic. You could have a plan in your head that you're going to go down here, but something pops up and you got to go somewhere else. You may have to unexpectedly cross over bodies of water. You may have to climb mountains. You may have to squeeze through tight spaces like culverts, to take shelter from nuclear fallout or bomb blasts. You may have to hide from, marauders and groups of armed people. You may have to move quickly to get away from, let's say, a big city. You may have to move quickly. The faster that you can get away from a big city, if you're bugging out from a city, the better off you are. And the best way to do that is to have the least amount of crap in your bag as possible. So this way you can cover distance very fast. If you have a 50-pound ruck on, it's going to slow you down. I don't care who you are, it's going to slow you down. There's just no way around it. It's the law of physics. Now, on top of the weight of your pack, you should also consider the physical size of the pack, okay? when you put your pack on, it shouldn't be so massive that, it's going to get caught on everything. It should be it should have a moderate or small real estate on your back, so this way, if you have to squeeze through things or climb things, it's not going to affect your ability to maneuver through tight spaces, okay, and move around. All right, you don't want to have this huge pack on, that you're not going to be able to walk through a door with, okay? So, you have to find a balance between, how much stuff you need and, having something that's the appropriate amount of gear inside of it, but you don't want to start to go overboard and start throwing all kinds of crap in there that you don't need. Now, my bug out bag is around 15 pounds, okay? And I could easily lighten that down to 10 pounds if I really wanted to go ultra light, But I have a few gear items in there that add a little extra weight that I think will be very useful in a grid down event or a bug out situation or SHTF, WROL, Tiatiawaki. And so, those extra gear items take up weight, but I really would never want to, for me personally, I think once you go over 20 pounds is when you really start to feel the difference. I think up to 20 pounds is, in my opinion, for most people, 20 pounds should be the max, 25 pounds. Bugging out is not backpacking. You're going to need to be mobile. You're going to need to move around. You're going to have to be able to engage people in firefights potentially if you have a firearm and you want to defend yourself. And if you're exhausted because you have a 100-pound pack on or a 50-pound pack on and you just hike 20 miles and some guy pops out of a bush and tries to jump you and you're too exhausted from moving 20 miles that you can't fight him off or you can't hold your weapon steady, just like that example that I gave you guys with my friend who was in Iraq, and he was saying that, he was just too exhausted if, those Taliban, or I'm sorry, it wasn't Iraq. I think it was the Taliban, but I'm getting mixed up with the story here. I can't remember if he was talking about Afghanistan or Iraq, but bottom line is that, he was so exhausted, he thought that he wouldn't be able to react, because he was just so tired from rucking that much. And you don't want to be in that position. So, please do yourself a favor. Liberate yourself from these massive bug out bags. You don't need them. It's unnecessary. The more skills that you have, the less crap that you need in your bag, And another thing too is I would recommend a lot of you guys to actually go out in the woods and spend a day in the woods. Or it doesn't have to be in the woods. Just go out, in the city if you live in a city or a suburb. Throw your backpack on and spend a day on foot just walking around, cover, let's say 10 miles or 20 miles. And you'll realize that you'd be surprised how little you really need, There's a lot of people out there that say, oh, you need 3,000 calories a day and you need, 4 liters of water a day. But, don't listen to those numbers. Your body is different. Everybody's different, Go out there, spend a whole day on foot, just walking around and see what you personally need, and you'll realize that you really don't need that much. Bugging out is a 2 to 3 day, on average, it's going to be a 2 to 3 day affair. You're not going to be, out there for months. You could be, all right, but typically you're going to get to your location, your bug out location or your safer area within 2 to 3 days, and if you don't get there, you're going to have to be a nomad, and you're going to have to jump from one location to another until you get to your final destination, and you may have to jump, let's say your bug out location is 100 miles away and there's no way you can get there by car because the roads are blocked or whatever. All right, it's not realistic to think that you're going to get there in 2 to 3 days because that's 100 miles on foot. That's very far. And on top of that, that would be far enough if it was rule of law and you were just walking right now during rule of law. But when the world has gone to hell, covering 100 miles is going to take a lot longer all right, than it is now. It may take you 2 or 3 weeks to get 100 miles away, because you're going to have to clear areas. You know, you're going to have to do a lot more security type things and counter tracking, escape and evasion. You're not just going to be able to walk, you know, out in the open, you know, so you're going to move slower, okay? And so, you know, you have to have certain tools that are multifunctional, and even when you run out of your disposable supplies like food, water, you know, batteries and things like that, you should always have some basic tools on hand that will always work for you, all right, no matter where you are. And, you know, one of those things is the 5 C's of survival, which was created by Dave Canterbury. And a lot of us, you know, preppers and outdoorsmen already had those 5 C's in our bags before Dave Canterbury coined the phrase, the 5 C's. But the 5 C's is a container, cordage, cutting tool, combustion device, and cover, okay? So typically that would involve a stainless steel canteen, a knife, some paracord, a poncho or tarp, and a ferro rod, okay? Those 5 things, you can do pretty much anything with that, okay? You can defend yourself, you can create shelter, you can set traps, you can boil water, you can cook. There's a lot of things you can do with that. Now, in addition to the 5 C's, you're going to want to have a compass, a good high quality compass. You're going to want to have medical equipment. Bare minimum would be a tourniquet and some kind of a compression bandage. You're going to want to have radiation pills for, you know, iodine protection from radioactive iodine. So you're going to want potassium iodide pills in case there's a fallout situation. You know, you're going to want spare ammunition if you have a firearm. You know, there's a lot of other things, you know, but I don't really want to get into it right now. You know, I just want to mention in this video that please don't overload yourself. There's no need for it. And like I said, I recommend that you guys actually take your bug out bag, walk around your neighborhood, you know, spend the whole day outside with it on, try to cover 10 or 20 miles, and you'll realize how little you actually need from your bug out bag, you know. You'll realize how little water you actually need. You know, 1 liter of water can go a long way, unless it's in the summertime and it's really warm outside. But, you know, 1 liter of water can go very far. You can go at least a half a day, or, you know, a couple of hours on 1 liter of water. You know, you don't need to have 2, 3, 4 liters, you know, bladders in your pack, you know. You don't need a lot of these things that people are putting in their bags, you know. So just keep it simple, you know, have the bare basics, you know, bare bones basics on hand. A lot of the things that you think you're going to need, you may not end up needing, and it's just going to cause extra weight to pile up, you know. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be doing a lot more bug out bag videos. I'm going to be doing an updated bug out bag video. I'll show you guys my bug out bag so you can see what I have, and maybe that'll give you some ideas. So that's pretty much it for now, and as always, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 P's: prepare, practice, and persevere.